The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. Live from the 540 ESPN studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is the Pro Wrestling Report with David Hero, Frank Cosentino, Linda Kay, and your host, Damian Nelson. I'm ready for lights, camera, action. Good morning.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report here live on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. It's Monday night, October 24, 2011. Damian Nelson here sitting alongside the lovely social media diva Linda Kay and the always opinionated David, the alleged backyard Hall of Famer, Octavius Tiberius Hero.
You know, you need to get one of those new John Cena T-shirts. Rise above the hate.
I do.
Amigo.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. That's clearly I'm the one with the issues.
You know,
I'm the one going around endorsing people and making new stars and endorsing new stars. You're the one who is just simply following, you know, the people who you think are, what are they?
Winners. They're winners.
They sing, "Here I come to save the day," while they're pretending to fly.
They are super friends, and they are winners, and they are dominating.
A lot to talk about tonight, including WWE
about
Vengeance, which was last night on pay-per-view. WWE Raw that just went off the air tonight. TNA Impact from last week, and your phone calls. And you can join the conversation in several ways by calling us. The number 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-ESPN. Hot news also tonight. Big episode of PWR next Monday night as we kick off the Pro Wrestling Report Live Events Tour. More details coming up on that later, including our big Survivor Series party. It's hot, David Hero. Kelly Inte.
There is a lot of stuff going on, which means a lot of shenanigans going on.
I can't wait myself.
You can also interact with us on Facebook and Twitter.
Absolutely. Just go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. And tonight's theme of themes, Damian?
Tonight's theme of themes is gimmicks. Gimmick wrestlers, so the likes of a Doink the Clown, a Salvatore Sincere,
Cody Rhodes,
Zach Knuckleball Schwartz, a Bastion Booger, the Goon. All those people qualify under that gimmicks category for tonight's theme of themes. And, Linda, how on earth can people tell us what they want to hear as we come out of break throughout the show tonight?
Just go on to our Twitter page.
Really?
Yeah. Twitter.
I thought it was Facebook.
What
are you changing stuff on me?
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Facebook.
The themes. The theme of themes.
I mentioned
That's
Facebook.
always on Facebook.
All right, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Linda's all excited because she won't tell us what her costume's going to be next week.
Well,
it's Halloween Monday.
It's also Linda's birthday week, so she's already been sipping the sake tonight.
Really?
What?
Really?
Yes.
Really? Let's talk about WWE Vengeance from last night and some newsworthy things happening on that pay-per-view, none of them being title changes because that didn't occur in a single scenario. But the biggest story coming out of the pay-per-view, I think, happened in both of the title matchups, the World Heavyweight Championship match and the WWE Championship matchup. Let's first talk about Mark Henry versus The Big Show, which was for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we took a trip back down memory lane. And I'm not knocking it because it was still awesome to see it again, but a superplex from the top rope executed by Big Mark Henry on the Big Show causes the ring to implode and collapse, and both men being incapacitated and not able to continue. Was it worth the repeat, David Hero?
Absolutely. I mean, the match was booked really well. Both guys got all their big power moves in, all their big power spots in. They couldn't beat each other. And they took it to the top rope. Big superplex, knocks the ring completely, out of commission. And
out of commission?
Commission, yeah.
Oh.
No. And you know what? It went well because, you know what? When we did Be the Booker last week, we were talking about who would win, how they'd win, all that good, funny kind of stuff. They did a good job of now extending this feud one more pay-per-view.
And the question is, because we were in Chicago at Money in the Bank, and we saw this matchup between Big Show and Mark Henry, and it was surprisingly good, if not excellent. Did they deliver a similar match last night in San Antonio?
I don't know if last night's match was as good as Money in the Bank, because I think they did too much last night. They all used their big, the choke slams, the world's strongest slam, all the other big slams and whatnot. But I thought it was very solid. I mean, and the Superplex obviously stole the show with Mark Henry and Big Show.
Is it okay if I, every 14 seconds, tell you what's trending on Twitter? Because right now trending on Twitter is "We hate Cena."
Please don't.
Oh.
WWE didn't tell us that.
No, but Michael Cole did.
Who?
Michael Cole.
Oh, that joke? Shut up. Just don't even.
I didn't even say it.
No. See,
why would you say? Rise above the hate. That's who you should be for Halloween on Monday. Be John Cena.
The match ends in a no contest, keeping both Big Show and Mark Henry strong. And what was key is Mark Henry walked out saying, "I'm the champion. I'm the champion," making the point verbally and, of course, physically by walking out. He proved, again, how strong he is as champion, and, again, his stock continues to rise in the fans' minds. He is probably, I would say, the most legitimate champion in WWE or TNA right now.
The most believable champion in wrestling. Maybe the last 20 years he's the most believable.
20 years? Yeah. That would make him more believable than The Miz.
Well, no, I'm saying, since Hogan and Warrior.
Really?
Most believable, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
David Arquette?
No, not even close.
No? Oh, that's a big statement. The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's all about perception.
Bret Hart.
You line all those guys up, and you say, okay, who is the one guy here I don't want to fight? You put up The Rock. You put up Austin. You put up Mark Henry. You put up Goldberg, Dallas Page. The list goes on. And Mark Henry is the one guy I would not want to get into a fight with.
There was some comedic relief in that matchup. I don't know if you noticed this, but when they drove the golf cart out to carry out the Big Show because the stretcher wouldn't do it, there was an Austin Powers moment. The golf cart.
I never saw that movie.
Drove out forward. You are.
Oh, that's the classic
he's
moment.
got problems, Linda. Just play along here. Well, Linda, the golf cart drove out and then it had to turn around, and it was doing that tight, wide turn for about 4 minutes, which was tremendous. You have to go back and watch it again, and watch Austin Powers, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Okay, sure.
Ranks right up there with Smokey and the Bandit, Dr. Detroit.
Well, I've seen those, yeah.
But anyway, it's a great matchup, and that ring implosion happened before. It happened on a SmackDown. Brock Lesnar and Big Show were the participants, and it was Michael Cole and Taz at ringside. Now, many times they're trying to convince us that that's the first time we've seen that. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not knocking it at all because it was still spectacular. And what was most unique about this is going into the next matchup, which was for the WWE Championship, John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio in a last man standing match. The ring would not be fixed, would not be reset. It really set the tone for this, which would be one of the best last man standing matchups I've ever seen happening last night at Vengeance, which resulted in Alberto Del Rio retaining the WWE Championship over a very battered John Cena.
And a very battered ADR.
You couldn't tell tonight, though, from either of them that they were in a last man standing match getting thrown through big letters and stages and all kinds of stuff. But be that as it may, a tremendous match last night.
ADR, he was selling his injuries tonight. He was a little gingerly coming down to the ring, didn't really get involved in a whole lot of stuff. But John Cena, you would have no clue that he got his butt beat last night.
And, one thing, and we talked about this on the post show last night, which can be found on our website, pwrshow.com, we talked about the fact that, or I speculated, and I've got a big speculative question to ask in just a minute as it pertains to Dolph Ziggler, which should be an interesting topic. But John Cena has delivered in so many high-level matchups this year that you can't not give him credit for that. You look at Money in the Bank. John Cena delivered a great match. Now, of course, you're only as good as the person you're in the ring with. But John Cena,
Which
5 moves
worried
to doom.
about Chris Masters. I'm sorry, go ahead.
In case you haven't been keeping score, I will dominate Chris Masters with the newly formed Nelson Lock at Blizzard Brawl on December 3rd in Waukesha at the Expo Center. There is no doubt. My trainer this week, what I've been doing is taking it in segments. And
are you planking now?
That was week 1.
Oh, okay.
John Cena deserves credit because last night, again, at Vengeance, he delivered. And you hear Super Cena, shield on chest, whatever. He deserves a little bit more respect than he might be getting. As I said, we hate Cena trending on Twitter right now. People should, just like you, David Hero, be a star and rise above hate.
I do. I don't hate. I just dislike. But here's the thing.
What's the
John Cena proved tonight he does not need that belt around his waist.
Mm-hmm.
He was still in the main event, still the focus point of the show. And you know what? Let someone else like ADR, heck, even CM Punk, have the belt and let them, have those world championship matches.
A great matchup. And again, Alberto Del Rio, much like Mark Henry, gets a little bit more steam behind him last night as he defeats John Cena in one of John Cena's, I would guess you'd say if he had specialty matches, this would be it because he's been in many of these match types. And Alberto Del Rio proving.
When has John Cena ever had a rematch where he's lost, when he didn't regain the title? I can't think of one.
Well, he's only been champion, 10, 13 times? Triple H is 13, Cena's 10.
You know what? I'm sure it has happened. I just don't have that,
Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Wiki?
I don't have that in my brain. So I'm sure it may have happened, but I can't think of the last time that it did happen, where he went in as the challenger and didn't leave as the champion.
Well, he did leave, Alberto Del Rio as the champion last night. And how about your boy there, Ricky Ricardo, just taking a lashing last night?
It's Ricardo Rodriguez.
Oh, Jerry Lawler was calling Ricky Ricardo all night.
Jerry's confused.
Silvers, I always wanted to train.
You did?
In my living room.
You should have gotten one.
On the tracks. Like
right.
a choo-choo train.
Right, absolutely. Well, what other kind of train would you have in your living room, Damien?
Dolph Ziggler retained the United States Championship against Zack Ryder last night at Vengeance.
Who?
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, right.
Who also lost in an effort to gain the tag team championships against Air Boom. Not successful in that effort with Dolph Ziggler.
Can we just stop for a second? Let's go back to Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, I knew it. Zack Ryder is not ready. He proved it last night, and they proved it tonight on Raw.
The same man who sat here during Raw saying Zack Ryder is going to be made a star tonight. He's going to be coming out and doing the rescue. Did you or did you not?
You know what? Yes, I did say that. You know why?
I thought you knew
because I thought for sure they would elevate the guy, and you know what? They didn't. They didn't do anything with him. So once again...
He's not endorsed,
He shouldn't be endorsed. He's not ready. And they proved it tonight by not having him come down to make the save. If he was truly as over and as popular with the WWE Universe,
the uni,
as everyone tweets and Facebooks and tells me about, they would have sent him down to save John Cena.
Who'd win a match between Zack Ryder and the Pope?
Be a draw. You know what? The Pope. Because at least he's come close to headlining something.
Dolph Ziggler, who is endorsed, by the way.
Now, wait, hold
style...
on. Let me just finish. Okay, you're cutting me off. I do understand why they didn't send Zack Ryder down to make the save.
Well, because he's not ready, according to you.
Well, besides him not being ready, but they also had to set up the tag match with The Rock. So if he comes down to make the save, then why wouldn't John Cena pick Zack Ryder as his tag team partner as opposed to The Rock? And I have thoughts on that, which I don't want to jump on your run sheet here, but Survivor Series just got kind of lame.
Really? Wow. Can't wait to hear about that. We'll talk about that big match announced for the Survivor Series later on. But Dolph Ziggler, he has the style. He has the look.
He has presence.
The ability. He has the arrogance. And last night, as he was sporting the Zig Fro at the end of that second match, a comparison came to mind. And
really?
This is going to be a bold statement. I know this. And if it wasn't my gut that just said this and thought this, I wouldn't even be bringing it up. But last night, I thought for a moment that in that ring with Zack Ryder at that time, at that event Vengeance, I was looking at a man who could be compared to a young Ric Flair. Dolph Ziggler has some Flairish qualities to him, a young Ric Flair. People hate Ric Flair.
A young
Why?
Ric Flair was 310 pounds.
Look, come on. I mean, just presence. You talked about presence earlier.
Yeah.
I think he's got a similar presence
See, I see
to a
more
young
of
Ric Flair.
I see more Rick Rude than Ric Flair.
Ravishing?
Yes.
Just because he had airbrush tights last night?
No, not
Why
at all.
why did he have a singlet without the straps? I thought
You
the
know
whole point of those was
I
to take the
think
straps
I
off.
think he took Kurt Angle's singlet and cut it up. You know how Kurt gets hot when people steal his moves. Well, now Dolph Z stole his ring gear.
It's a bold statement, but again, I am a mark for Dolph Ziggler. I've said that for a long time.
Yes, you have.
I have endorsed him along with The Miz,
And he's
along
a
with
super
Cody
friend.
Rhodes, along with Heath Slater, along with Crimson. I've endorsed all
Yeah.
those people.
Yeah.
And, I saw a little hint of Ric Flair last night in Dolph Ziggler. Correct me if I'm wrong.
A little hint of Ric Flair?
I don't know. I felt it. There's never been – but my philosophy is this. You can never be the next anybody. And
Right.
if you're aspiring to be the next anybody, you're going to be the next nobody. But you can be the new.
Or the
Michael
first.
Bublé is the new Frank Sinatra, in my
Really?
opinion. Yes, The Miz
Have
is
you
the
met
new
him yet?
Hulk Hogan, in my opinion. Dolph Ziggler could be the new Ric Flair. He's got – I see you ravishing Rick Rude, and I'll raise you Sid Vicious. I'll raise you Mr. Perfect.
Wait a minute.
In look,
Sid Vicious,
in style,
Dolph
in appearance,
Ziggler
in
has
presence.
more
Talent in his
ability
pinky.
in his pinky toe
That's
than,
even smaller.
than Sid Justice ever had.
I'm just talking about, okay, but he had a presence. He was a star until that whole foot thing
He's
happened.
7 feet tall. Of course he has a presence. El Gigante had a presence.
I was watching some of the videos and some of the episodes of WWE programming leading up to WrestleMania 8 on YouTube the other day.
Yes.
And, I didn't realize El Gigante had such a big presence that night.
Bro, I didn't look that close.
Stop it. Really? Are you kidding me? Are you serious, bro? Wait till I get Zack Ryder on the phone later this week and play for him the consolidated tapes. It's like the Nixon tapes from
And
Watergate
he'll agree with
of
me.
everything you've said about him for the last
If
2
he
months.
is a pro, he will agree with me.
Trying to get him in the suite for WrestleMania to come up and
Well,
stop by, and
you
he
know what?
said, well, is Hero going to be there?
Of course.
People have been sending him your tweets.
I know. Why?
They should stop. Daniel Tosh had a good thing to say about that, actually.
And what did he say about that?
I'm not going to. You have to watch Tosh.0.
When do I have time? You have me watch all this wrestling all week long.
Zack Ryder, tremendous last night, tremendous again tonight.
What?
Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. Jeez. I was going to say, man,
Tremendous
what are you guys
last
passing
night.
around over there?
Tremendous tonight as well. And I see some shades of a young Ric Flair or a new Ric Flair in Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Write it down, mark it. I'll stand behind it. Kevin Nash is back again, David Hero, on why he tonight made a very strong presence on Raw. Last night, he came back in a big way, attacking Triple H, causing Triple H and CM Punk to lose that tag team matchup against The Miz and R-Truth.
Shenanigans.
Kevin Nash makes, his third return now to WWE television, and he does so on a pay-per-view. And then tonight, he annihilates and destroys Triple H.
They are definitely setting up a Triple H versus Kevin Nash match at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series or Rumble? I mean, Triple H has got a broken neck.
Survivor Series.
Tonight, they told
got-
us he may have a broken
okay.
neck.
They got a month to figure this out.
When I broke my C4, when I had to get him fused,
Yes.
my last match, it took me more than a month. It took 5 weeks for me to get ready.
You're not the game. You don't have the same kind of doctors and
I'm not the game. I'm
supplements that he has.
the reset button.
Yes, you are the reset button. But, I mean, you know what? People are going to say, oh, there they go again, talking about Nash because, they're buddies and pals. Fact of the matter is this, Kevin Nash looks fantastic. And
How old is he, 52?
53.
Wow.
And obviously he brings something, a certain dynamic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be using him.
Yeah.
So
That is true. And also last night, an amazing Divas matchup. Amazing for Divas standards. Beth Phoenix versus Eve. Beth Phoenix retains the Divas championship. But that match, given time to be absorbed by us viewers,
they
was
did
very well done.
They did a really good job last night.
I was mostly impressed by Eve because Beth Phoenix, you have a level of expectation. Eve, I'm not sure if that same level of expectation
Beth
is
Phoenix
there.
was never a Diva Search chick. She was never a cover girl. Eve was a model that came into the Diva Search, and she won.
I thought Rick Martel was the model.
Well, he was too. But you know what? And I mentioned this earlier. It's kind of funny how they have a new agent over there in Titan Towers.
Who? I didn't know.
BG Road Dogg James.
Oh, I tried to call somebody.
Yeah, and you know what? The matches were pretty good last night. You got to wonder what he had his fingers in, what he had his stamp on.
Well, hopefully he had nothing to do with that brutal,
Yeah, Dolph
obnoxious
Ziggler and Zack Ryder match.
commentary. Now, what do you got against Dolph Ziggler? Huh?
No, he was great. He was exhausted. He still carried that guy to a great match, or a good match.
The commentary team of Booker T, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole, which I have no problem with individually, were just
You said you
horrible
cannot
last night.
stand Michael Cole.
I cannot stand the current Michael Cole in a commentary position on WWE programming. Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That is right.
You know what? Where I was watching the pay-per-view last night, I could barely hear what the commentary, which was great. So
It seems as if that might come to an end over the course of the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk about the developments on Raw tonight. Also, Linda, right now on our Facebook page, I think that you can vote, and you can go ahead and determine a couple of things, including last night's pass-fail grade for WWE Vengeance, and a new poll where you can decide which was the best of the three pay-per-view offerings in October, Bound for Glory, Hell in a Cell, or Vengeance. Now, I have a feeling Vengeance is going to win that, not because of its quality over the other two,
it's most recent.
but because of its recency, and memory is a challenge at times. What's your name again? The guy I'm talking to.
Yo.
When we come back, we're going to talk about WWE Raw. We're going to speak to a couple of you waiting on hold, including Glenn, JR, and Adam, and go to your tweets and Facebook posts. This is the Pro Wrestling Report. We're live on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Tremendous, vintage, Big Boss Man, the theme of themes tonight, gimmick wrestlers here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Linda Kay, who brought that jewel to our ears tonight?
That would be Michael Bungie.
Oh, I was going to say Tillman. He's the one that found it.
Michael Bungie?
Bungie.
Like jump?
Minus
crisscross
one
will make
E.
you?
Maybe it's Bunge.
Bunjay? I don't know.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. Again, you're picking the themes. Linda, how on earth do they do that?
Go on to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Let's talk about WWE Raw from tonight. We hinted at some of the things that happened on it earlier. Of course, many of you out there watched it. Triple H opens the show. He's upset, and he says he had always been taught that in this business, you either make friends or you make money, and he's been lucky enough to make both. But mention some of those people he's friends with, including Shawn Michaels, including Sean Waltman.
Did he mention Scott Hall?
He did not mention Scott
Wow,
Hall.
I wonder why that didn't happen.
Speaking of which, did you check out that special from ESPN last week, that piece on Scott Hall?
No, but I saw the history book on PWR show.
We're going to talk about that later on in this program as well, because it was a compelling piece of television, and I think a very telling piece of television
you know what?
as well.
Unfortunately, what they said about Scott Hall is true.
What ScottAll said about Scott Hall.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had him in town here, a few years ago, and
that was a night.
It was not a pleasant experience, to put it nicely.
It was Hashmark entertaining.
It was, hey, yo. He showed up with blue hair, but all kidding aside, I do truly hope that
we'll talk about that later.
All right, fine. Then whatever. You see, again, you've cut me off.
Kevin Nash attacks Triple H after Johnny Ace comes out and or Triple H asks him to find Nash, sign Nash, make it official, do whatever it takes so that he can get his hands on Nash. Well, Nash would be the first getting his hands on Triple H tonight with a sledgehammer, and then, a la Stone Cold and Bret Hart from years ago, he pulls Triple H out of the ambulance and then attacks him again with that sledgehammer. A great way to start off WWE Raw. It felt real, it felt believable, and it definitely was intriguing as it leads to something else.
And the best thing about it is now Kevin Nash is getting paid twice because he had a guaranteed contract when Hunter fired him the first time. Now he gets a second contract. He's double dipping.
The chip?
Yes.
Was
that
that
a
a way?
Seinfeld reference?
Very good, David Hero. You've
How
been
about
watching,
that?
catching
No,
up on those DVDs?
I've been hearing, yeah.
It was a brutal double attack, and it was done so well and done so smartly. And Triple H delivered the sell job on it so tremendously that I'm intrigued to see where this goes next. Now, David Hero, Linda Kay, a one-on-one match between Kevin Nash and Triple H. Does it seem as if that's the direction we're going to end up in, or might something be lumped together, team versus team, at Survivor Series? We did find out that The Miz and R-Truth are busy at the Survivor Series, so that sort of takes out one equation that had been thrown around out there. When you say Survivor Series, it might be a singles match between these two, David Hero. I'm not sure there's enough time to get there.
It's going to have to be a singles match. You know, I mean, what would have been great would have been if it would be like a traditional Survivor Series match where
Who will survive?
it's worth Miz and R-Truth and Nash on one side, and then you can put Triple H and Rock and Cena on the other. I mean, right now it's just way too one-sided. It's almost like the Mega Powers against the Mulkeys.
The who?
Old WCW, the Mulkeys. Or, Power and Glory. That might be a little more current for you.
Rob Terry and Mason Ryan?
Yeah. It's Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man against Iron Mike Sharp and just pick some other random jobber. That's what it's going to be like at Madison Square Garden.
The Great White Sheamus. That's what it says on the screen now. The Great White Sheamus teams up with Randy Orton
Is that
to take
Irish
on...
Shark?
No, it's gray.
Great.
The shark is gray.
But I thought a shark was a great white.
It is. They're all over the world.
But he's orange.
No, he's white.
So confusing.
They team up to take on Christian, and Christian causes them to lose that matchup.
Whoa, back up, Jabroni. Christian and who? Christian and Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. Cody was in that match as well.
You know what? And you know what? I'm so glad Cody was there because I heard that Vinnie Mac and company, there was concern with that. There are some lights out in the ceiling of the arena, and they figured, well, if anyone's going to be able to find out how many are burnt out, it'll be Cody. And sure enough, he wound up on his back again tonight, counting the dead light bulbs.
Still, the Intercontinental Champion is Cody Rhodes.
You know why? He'll always
He's got more gold around his waist.
He'll always be Intercontinental Champion. You know why? Because he never defends the title.
He's got more gold around his waist than your boy Sheamus, than your boy Chris, than your boy Wade Barrett, who was on a dark match last night. So yeah, your little super friends. Yeah, you got one belt.
I got the one that matters.
This time, because it's around the waist of one of your little jabronis.
I have two of them. I have the TNA World Champion with the Cowboy James Storm.
Happenstance. Look, just stop.
And I got
People don't want to hear you argue with yourself over nothing. Okay?
I'm not. I'm arguing with you.
Dolph Ziggler versus Santino Marella. Santino Marella has seemingly dropped back down to Job Squad status as of late on TV. We can't even hear funny ha-ha from him anymore.
No, you really can't. He's not doing much.
CM Punk confronts Alberto Del Rio, and Johnny Ace comes out, and he demands some respect from CM Punk. CM Punk makes some references, I think something about ball bearings and a skateboard. And
I could not believe CM Punk asked Johnny Ace about his ball bearings.
And very intense discussion with CM Punk. Now, last night,
you know what?
CM Punk...
Wait, stop. Going back to Johnny Ace and the ball bearings.
John Laurinaitis, yeah.
Yes. When they talk about the skateboard, Johnny Ace used to be in a tag team with Shane Douglas, the Dynamic Dudes. And they would come out with their fluorescent, green, yellow, whatever goofy...
The picture's right now on the PWR Facebook page.
Yeah, go there, the ring gear, and they had skateboards. So that's what John Cena and CM Punk were referring to. History lessons.
CM Punk last night said to Triple H, I knew it was never you. I know somebody else was making you look bad. To me, that was like, that sound you make when you let the helium out of a balloon?
Yes, that annoying
That's
one.
what I felt when that whole thing was. I'm like, whoa. CM Punk is where he is right now for that promo. He cut basically on Triple H, and now he's taking it all back. And then tonight, he goes back to that CM Punk, who we haven't heard from in weeks on Raw. A little tricky on WWE television right now with consistency with CM Punk.
CM Punk's the babyface. Now he can be the pandering guy to Triple H. That's what he's doing. He's already got a top spot.
And he wants to solidify that top spot with a match with Alberto Del Rio. Looks like we're going to see that at the Survivor Series. Alberto Del Rio versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. Could this be a threat to ADR?
Oh, of course. Every babyface that's going to chase him is going to be a threat. But let's just hope that ADR can, sustain and keep that gold around his waist, at least through the Rumble.
Alicia Fox makes a return to television tonight, at least Raw television, going up against Beth Phoenix, and Alicia Fox gets the win.
No, Natalya.
Beth Phoenix on commentary, sorry. Alicia Fox gets the
Alicia
1, 2, 3
Fox,
pin.
How about that?
Must be her new music.
Which I'm not a big fan of because, you know what, it's not quite as, sassy as the other stuff she used to have. But
she's sassy.
You know what, Alicia Fox gets the big W. I mean,
maybe she should be Cody Rhodes.
And you know what, the best thing about that is that she didn't get beat down afterwards. She fought both heels off.
And then she ran away with her tail tucked between her legs.
Hey, live to fight another day, amigo. That's what it's all about.
John Morrison, he can fight all the days he wants. Doesn't seem like he's ever going to be not looking at the lights.
I don't think he's going to be fired. If they were going to fire him, they wouldn't give him so much TV time. Don't use him. Something's going to happen where it's going to get turned around.
John Morrison loses to Wade Barrett tonight.
Barrett.
Who's must be cold tonight in Austin, Texas.
He's wearing the jacket.
Didn't have the flower, though,
He's going to get a nice little push again. Wade Barrett is a star.
Maybe he could be the next Doctor Who when Matt Smith is done. Got the jacket. He's got the little flower gimmick.
Sure, he could do that.
Michael Cole challenges JR for a match next week. And here's where I think the end game comes. I firmly see whatever this Michael Cole challenge is going to be, JR winning somehow or another, because Michael Cole says he quits if he loses. Michael Cole, as I've said before, will be perfect in some type of managerial antagonistic role. But the current utilization of Michael Cole, with the talent he has to be just obnoxious, is not ideal for WWE. So this opens that door for him to go out and maybe take a Jack Swagger or somebody under his wing and create a stable. Could Michael Cole as a manager be as good as some of the better managers in the past from professional wrestling? Up all Heyman, about Bobby Heenan, and John.
No. Why?
You're not giving him a chance.
No, because Michael Cole is all about Michael Cole. He's more concerned about getting himself over than his talent. That's the problem. And you know what? Maybe that's why Michael Cole has been so irritating lately, because they're setting up the angle for him to be gone, so the crowd will go nuts that, the Wicked Witch is dead.
At what cost, though? I turned on SmackDown last week, and wait to hear what I have to say about what happened when I turned on Impact. I actually just got a chance to watch it today. And
Impact? God, you just watched it on a Monday?
Yeah, show prep.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I watched the highlights that the interns prepared for me before primetime on Saturday, but I watched a full episode tonight.
Okay, just making sure.
Today. Anyways, it's to the point of, well, how much damage has it done to the product? Because it's unbearable. You can't listen to it. And that's the risk that they run. But we'll see what happens in Atlanta next week when JR goes up against Michael Cole and some type of Michael Cole
pictures
challenge.
he had.
You know what's disappointing?
Those pictures were funny, by the way.
You know what's disappointing?
What's that? Is that I haven't replaced Michael Cole?
Is that the major angle on Raw next week?
Right.
You have all these talented guys.
The Miz, Cody Rhodes,
Jim Ross,
Ziggler.
and Michael Cole is going to get a higher billing on the show than Zack Ryder.
Yep. There you go again. The Miz and R-Truth team up to take on John Cena and Zack Ryder. Ryder gets beat up, not able to compete. It's a handicap match. Cena.
It would have been anyhow.
Oh, Dave.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that...
I'm going to give you a moment to settle down and think about what you're saying here.
No, listen. Miz and R-Truth are a great tag team.
I'm sorry, one more time?
They're a great tag team.
Miz is great, thank you.
Yes. So you knew that they would eventually get one of the two and beat one down. So then one would have to make the hot tag for the big comeback. So it would have been a handicap match. Come on. You know what I mean. See, this is the shenanigans that happens here. And now Linda's involved in it, where you're both trying to twist the words around to make it seem like I hate people.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, we're going to get to a couple of your phone calls. Those of you who have been waiting patiently on the phone lines, we appreciate those of you who are letting us know via Twitter. Linda is trying to let you know that our phone lines are full. So once we clear these calls, give us a try again, and we'll be able to take your call. So we're going to take a time out, join 540 ESPN after the baseball coverage, and be back here on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
This is Packers wide receiver Greg Jennings, and you're listening to 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. A little gold dust, the golden one. He's very mysterious.
Are you kidding me? I know why you did this.
I didn't pick it.
It's Cody's brother, so let's have him on now as far as the gimmick.
Hey, Dave, I'm choosing
Cody
these
don't need no
and,
stinking gimmick.
Gold Dust was one of my favorite wrestlers. Actually, the first live event I went to was King of the Ring 96 here in Milwaukee.
Aldo
Big
Montoya in the
sign.
free-for-all against Triple H.
Well, the big sign I made, my Gold Dust sign. I spent hours at
You know,
the
that was
arts and craft store.
That was the first time I met Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah?
It was.
How about that?
It was.
Thank
What?
you.
What did you just say?
Oh, I stole a line from...
Yeah, who picked that?
Oh, okay. Buddy Pitts. Thank you very much
I'm
for
sorry?
choosing. Buddy
Who?
Pitts.
I thought they said Bumpy Pitts.
Buddy Pitts. Thank you very much for choosing Gold Dust.
Awesome. Gimmicks. That was fun. What did we start? Big Boss Man with the gold dust. That's fun. I wonder who's next. You can submit your suggestion on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. Linda, a lot going on Twitter right now, too. And keep those comments coming because later in the episode, we're going to do a summary of some of the things you guys have been talking about all night, as opposed to telling you every 14 seconds like they did on Vengeance last night.
Just go on to ours, actually, where PWR show. Sorry.
At PWR Show. I still want to know what you're wearing. Look, fine. This is better time than ever. Next week, here's what's going to happen, all right?
Oh, boy. Here
We're
goes.
going on the road. We're taking this whole caboose on the road. We are going to be broadcasting live next week, next Monday night, Halloween night.
Wait. We're not going to be in the studio?
We'll not be in the studio. We'll be
It's safe in
broadcasting.
here.
We'll be broadcasting live from the new PWR Lounge. Are you ready? The PWR
yeah.
Lounge at Karma Sports Bar and Grill, Karma Bar and Grill, rather. That is going
that
to
the
be.
new place on Ogden?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Nice job, Damian Nelson.
Got our own little lounge downstairs there. It's going to be WWE Raw at 8 o'clock on the big screen. I will be there. You will be there. Linda Kay is in charge. She will be hosting the costume party. A big costume party. You can show up in your costume next week to the Pro Wrestling Report live radio broadcast from Karma right here in downtown Milwaukee.
Are you going to dress up as The Miz?
I'm not going to spoil it for you. You know, I live in a spoiler-free zone. So you can read about it on the internet probably Sunday night.
Okay.
Because I'll go trick-or-treating
And Linda, you're
in
going
the
to
community.
come as...
You will just have to wait and see.
Why won't you tell us? Will there be a costume?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Of course, I'm hosting the contest. I got to
Does it involve, is it, how do I ask this question? Do you remember the Royal Rumble 1998?
98, yes.
Handprints. Is that what you're getting
That
at?
was fully loaded.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Next Monday night, it's the PWR costume party from Karma. The PWR Lounge downstairs at Karma.
So we're going to watch Raw.
We're going to watch Raw.
Then we're gonna
the event starts at 7:30.
A costume party there.
Costume party there.
Prizes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Prizes. I understand we have prize packs valued at over $500.
Oh my gosh!
Absolutely.
And then we're going to talk. And then we're going to broadcast live afterwards. So
Yes.
we'll have like a live studio audience.
But wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
The My24 cameras will be there, and we'll be taping footage for primetime as well. So you can watch me be host of the year on radio.
Oh, my gosh.
Watch Linda in her fully loaded 1999 costume. You can show up in your costume and be on primetime next Saturday night on My24 Milwaukee here in southeastern Wisconsin. All for free, by the way. There's no charge to get in.
No?
No.
Huh.
All the details right now on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. We'll look forward to seeing all of you down there next week at Karma Bar and Grill. Let's, without further ado, get to the phone lines. A couple of people waiting very patiently there for that. And let's go to our first caller, who is Glenn from Orlando. Glenn, you're live on line 1 here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I am tremendous tonight.
3 points that I would like to make.
Yes?
The first point, I want Damian Nelson to point to David Hero and say ha, because Kevin Nash is 52, not 53.
Ha!
So there you
I did
go.
it.
Okay.
I want to predict Kevin Nash versus Triple H at WrestleMania 28.
Hold on a second.
Really?
Wait, hold on a second. Glenn from Orlando. When's Kevin's birthday?
July 9th, 1959.
Oh. Well, he told me he's 53, so I'm kind of
Well, you're still telling people you're 19.
Absolutely.
WrestleMania, you think it's going to go all the way to Miami at Sun Life Stadium?
Yeah, give Triple H a little bit of time off. Give Kevin Nash time to,
You know, it's a good
They
point.
can't wait that long.
But can they? Because otherwise, what's Triple H going to do? Maybe
They
him and
have-
Punk?
They have enough history to do it.
or
You
have
know, win those two.
Triple H and Taker one last time.
Now,
That'd be
here's the
like
big
4 years of double matches for the Taker series.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
And there's 3 parts to this. Do you think Brock Lesnar now is in WWE 12? It's confirmed. He needs to come back to guest host Raw to promote his UFC fight on December 30th. And if he does come back, do you think there's a chance that Dana White would let him have one last match? And if he does last match, against who, and where would you put it?
At this point, there is no way that Brock Lesnar will work for both WWE and UFC in any on-air capacity because of the damage it could do to UFC. Now, obviously, with him being involved in WWE 12, he is a character in that video game. There will definitely be some promotional work done, but letting Brock Lesnar get in the ring and be a UFC fighter at the same time is not going to be beneficial to UFC brand, and they don't need that.
Of course, it depends on what match it is.
Ah.
If it's Brock Lesnar,
Wrestling
versus
is a
The
controlled
Undertaker,
situation with a premeditated
and
outcome.
That's fine, and everyone knows that it's fake.
But-
okay, they do. But and UFC fighters know that what they do is different. But if they can book an Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania in Miami, come on, how can Dana White really say no to that?
What's he gain?
No, David Hero.
Yes.
Let me tweak that a little bit. Do you remember watching that video and Taker saying if the UFC was as hot as it was back when I had to choose, I would choose UFC?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think if they did a Taker versus Lesnar match in a UFC style match?
Oh,
at
sweet
WrestleMania?
Lord.
Oh, that would be brutal.
It'd be like
Taker's
the
body can't handle that.
what was the was it a WrestleMania where there was the sumo match? It was Big Show versus
Versus Konichiwa or
God bless you.
who was that Joker? I forgot what his name was.
Thinking it was recent.
Yeah.
It was WrestleMania a few years ago, right?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But anyways, Glenn, we got to let you go as we got to head over to Sports Center in a minute. But I think the challenge with that is I think it'll do too much damage to the UFC. I just don't think that I don't know if those audiences are going to I don't think they're going to cross over. And that's really the benefit. You got to make more money out of it. Now, WWE would gain from it substantially. I don't know about UFC. Thank you for that call, Glenn, down in Orlando. Let's now actually, sorry about that, Glenn. We don't have Sports Center tonight, but let's go to JR out in California on line 2. JR, you're live.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
I am fantastically tremendous.
Awesome. I just wanted to say tonight's Raw didn't really do much for me, but I totally marked out with Kevin Nash coming out. It's always a good thing to see Nash on Monday nights.
See, Kevin Nash is still ratings. People recognize him.
Oh, totally.
NWO, and he still has fire.
Yes, whenever I see him, it's just like he was my favorite when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So it's kind of got that value to it. So when I see him step out there, that little kid in me kind of comes out, and you know what I mean? He's money. Every time I know he's going to be on a pay-per-view, I'm spending dollars.
You know, you talk about, thank you for that call, JR, but you talk about the little kid in you. Tonight, John Cena made a couple of references. Actually, John Cena and CM Punk made a couple of references that they were jokes for the younger audience, but jokes about stuff that the younger audience may not know about. One of them being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
John Cena was talking about. And then CM Punk made a reference. I forget exactly what it was. That's how significant it was, I guess.
Skateboard.
No.
No?
It was old school. It was back in the day, as well. So, yeah. I mean, Kevin Nash. I got no problem with Kevin Nash at all. You know, the challenge though is you can't really appreciate how monstrous Kevin Nash is until you see him in person or stand very close to him. He is a big dude.
He's a legit 7-footer.
Yeah.
But you know what? If the rest of the undercard, if the mid card on Raw and SmackDown was developed where they should be, there would be no reason to bring a Kevin Nash in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not there yet.
Yep.
And let's face it, who else on that roster is Triple H going to work with?
He could work with The Miz. He could work with Cody Rhodes. He could work with Dolph Ziggler.
Damian, seriously.
He could work with Heath Slater when he comes back.
Who else on that roster can Triple H really work with? Yes, he can have matches with those guys you just listed, but is it believable? And there's that word again. It has to be believable.
Let's not forget.
When Triple H is in the ring with any one of those guys you just listed, I hate to say it, it's like a father beating up his son. You know? The size difference and everything else, it's just night and day.
It was evident last night.
Absolutely, with Randy and Cody.
No.
It wasn't? When you saw Cody Rhodes standing next to Randy Orton, you didn't think it was like the big brother and the little brother?
No.
Oh, you are full of crap. Seriously. Really? Night and day. The problem
is... You can't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, you can.
You can't forget, though, Undertaker and Triple H.
So you've never bought a book by what you saw on the cover?
Absolutely not.
You never bought a magazine?
I don't read those kinds of magazines.
Well, you should.
Or look at the pictures in those kinds of magazines.
You will learn stuff.
Triple H and Undertaker building up to WrestleMania this past year.
Yes.
That point you're making was made then.
By Triple H. He pretty much said, there's nobody in the locker room that can work with me.
And then we wonder why some 5, 6, 7 months later, we're in this little situation, quagmire, if you will, that we're in now in WWE. Maybe it's because you buried everybody a couple of months ago?
I did not.
You being Triple H, speaking.
Well, I'm so used to you blaming me for everything.
We've got more of you waiting on hold. Again, if you want to join us, the number 414-276-ESPN or 800-990-ESPN. We've got Eric in Michigan, Mike, and Adam still waiting. We'll get to Adam when we come back here on the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. I got my shears ready. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Vintage. You remember that Saturday night's main event, I think it was, when the Outlaw Ron Bass came in and attacked him and he took the spurs to his head?
That wasn't a main event. I think that was a Superstars or a Wrestling Challenge.
It could have been Superstars, but I remember the big red X censored.
I do too, yes.
And I'm like, whoa, this is huge. This is a big deal.
Never happened
My
before.
God, he's cutting him with his spurs.
Absolutely.
Vintage Brutus Beefcake. Who gave us that little morsel?
That would be J.D. Thank you.
I bet that name was easy to spell in school.
I think also the interns just put that video up, Ron Bass bloodying Brutus Beefcake. It's the uncensored version. No, we need the censored version. We got to get that one up there on our Facebook page as well. And welcome back, as we said, to the Pro Wrestling Report. I want to thank all of you who are following us along, are following along with us in the chat room, as well as on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Some great conversation going on in the chat room right now.
Twitter.
As well, and so many comments, hundreds of people in there right now. Difficult to get to all of them, but we do appreciate you guys engaging each other in conversation in our chat room during each of our live radio broadcasts, including this Thursday night. Sudden Impact Radio, David Hero, talking all about Impact Wrestling from Thursday night. Next Monday night, it's the PWR Costume Party from Karma. That's 600 East Ogden here in Milwaukee. It'll be in the PWR Lounge, kicking off a series of weeks.
That lounge is
live.
pretty sweet, too, by the way.
It's almost like the sweet and sexy
I was just gonna
meetup
say
party
that. You go
we
down
had
the
last
stairs,
year.
got
Absolutely.
that cool vibe.
Whoa,
You know what?
wait,
But
wait,
the
wait,
room
wait.
doesn't-
Linda, you've been in the Karma Lounge?
Yes.
Ah, very nice.
That's next week at Karma, starting at 7:30 p.m., and you can join us, no charge. Come on down in your costume. And I understand, Linda, that costume does not have to be wrestling related, but there will be all kinds of opportunity to be a part of our primetime television show. We're going to be broadcasting live right here on 540 ESPN from Karma next Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Come on down, have some great food, some great drink, and then watch WWE Raw, hosted by the Muppets, on Halloween night.
Kermit Frog.
And then the Pro Wrestling Report live right after 10 o'clock p.m.
Oh,
and
my
I think
gosh.
I'm going to rent Ecto 1 to get there.
I wonder if The Miz is going to want to beat up Kermit. Imagine Kermit the Miz face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball.
I don't understand the relation between the two.
Okay.
Linda, have you decided what your costume next week's going to be yet? Why are you putting us through this pain, this torture of trying to figure out what it is you will or won't be wearing next Monday night?
It's worth waiting for.
Really?
I really don't want to know yet.
Really? You like a surprise?
I love a surprise.
It'd be fun. That's why, again, your costumes does not have to be wrestling related, but it'd be fun to see what we can.
So somebody can come dressed up as Joel the Plumber?
Yes.
It's next Monday night. Big time at Karma. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Adam in Columbus, Ohio on line 3, very patiently waiting. Adam, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
I am fantastic.
Well, I wanted to call in this week because I called in last week, and I don't mean to toot my own horn.
But please do.
But I was the one who called last week 24 hours before James Storm's winning the world title and asked the question that spurred on the discussion last week about James Storm. It was me.
And as we talk about TNA Impact Wrestling later on, James Storm is the new TNA Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. Is that how you say it, David? TNA
He
Impact
is the
Wrestling
TNA
World
Impact World Wrestling Champion.
And that happened last Thursday in Impact. And very well, last Monday night on the show, you did call in and speculate as to whether or not that could happen or what was next. And you were dead on.
And, I didn't think, when I heard Hogan make, in that interview talk about James Storm, I didn't think it was going to happen in 24 hours. I have no connections or anything like that. I just saw an interview, and for that to happen so quick, it was kind of nice to see James win it, but for me, like you guys were talking about on primetime this past week and everything, did they do it to screw the 10 percenters over, as Eric Bischoff likes to call the internet wrestling community? Because if he did that, so self-serving, even for Eric Bischoff.
And the reason we speculated on that, and thank you very much for that call, Adam, the reason we speculated on that was because of some of the things Eric Bischoff had sent out on Twitter. And Eric Bischoff, who thinks that the internet has far less of an influence on wrestling and wrestling fans than it does, appears regularly on an internet wrestling radio program. So there's a disconnect there already. Whether they did it for that reason or not, hey, it's still pretty neat. I mean, nobody expected it. James Storm is the new TNA World Wrestling Impact Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. 2 million people tuning in to Impact, one of their best ratings of the time they've been on Spike TV. The question is, what happens this week? Because they've had those spikes before.
No pun intended, right?
And if they think, you know what? We're going to be in a world in for a ton of hurt. Because it was 40 minutes, 3 commercial breaks of talking to start that Impact.
But they had to.
And I thought Impact was written and executed brilliantly last week as far as what was delivered to follow up on Bound for Glory. But the message that we, the fans, sent to TNA is that we want 40 minutes of talking over the span of 3 commercial breaks because we delivered the viewership for that. So in subsequent weeks, and some of you complained about it last week, but in subsequent weeks, when more people complain about it, the data shows that that's what the people wanted. And, here's the one challenge that was with Impact this week. We'll talk about it later. I can't get into that now. It's going to take more time than we have. Thank you for that call, Adam, out in Columbus, Ohio, talking about James Storm becoming a new TNA Impact World Heavyweight Wrestling Spike TV champion. Hi, Dave.
I'm listening to you. I'm sorry. I'm
tweeting.
No, I'm getting a report from Austin, Texas for you for later.
Oh, hot news? Caliente?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to, in just a moment, we're going to go and talk to Mike. And we want to remind all of you, as the phone lines open up, you can join us, 276-ESPN here locally, or 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. Let's now go to Mike on line 2. Mike, you're live.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Tremendous.
Good, good. First off, I want to say never, ever doubt the DWHS.
That's right.
Doubt it like it was so dead on it, Bound for Glory? Oh, yeah, never doubt it. Sure. It's always right. Yeah, great.
The DWHS took out John Cena
and I can't believe this. I heard that coming up later this week, there's going to be some kind of ridiculous DWHS World Tour T-shirt.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Really?
It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be tremendous.
Hot seller, yeah. It's going to be moving off the shelves. Mike, what do you have for us?
I mean, David called it right on with Alberto Del Rio retaining. Said he needed to retain, he was going to retain, and he retained.
You wrestling fans are so amazing to me. Do you not remember how wrong he was with Bound for Glory?
No, that's old news.
He missed one, and that's because Hogan changed it at the end.
Yes. And you know what? If someone's going to screw me, it might as well be Hulk Hogan.
Excuses. That's
he
fine.
rose the bet on David Hero.
Mm-hmm. There you go. See?
And suffer the same consequences.
I just wanted to say, I didn't watch Vengeance last night, but I kept up with the tweets from the PWR show, and like I said, Hero kept it dead on. Del Rio needed to keep it and defeat Super Cena in a match Cena's never been defeated in.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, I wanted to comment on the whole James Storm thing where David Hero said that night, and leading up to it, Bobby Roode would make a good champion, but James Storm will make a better one because he's the character. He's the guy you want to go out and drink with.
He's a Tennessee redneck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he calls himself.
And you know what? And there's concern now within the TNA Impact Wrestling offices that he just might be too Southern right now is one of the biggest things going on.
They're based out of Nashville.
I know.
Tennessee.
How about that? You know what? James Storm is a good guy. He's got a great character. I think because he is partnered up with Bobby Roode, people may think that he's not as good of a wrestler as Bobby Roode, but he can go. He's had some good matches.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for that call out in Moreno Valley. And a lot of discussion about James Storm, David Hero. A lot of people surprised by that, not just last week when the taping occurred, but also on Thursday when Impact did finally air. And why don't we roll into Impact and talk about that? And I talked about earlier, the one thing that really bothered me about Impact, and I'm not saying TNA does this because WWE does it as well, but the piped-in crowd noise was ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I can't sit there and watch people cheering almost as loud, if not louder, than what we're hearing from the talents in the ring. At the time, it was Sting and Dixie Carter and Hogan, and watch them sitting there on their thumbs.
They're all ventriloquists.
They reacted. They're throwing it a long way. They reacted when they should have reacted, but whoever was dialing that knob up and down to try to match what was happening wasn't dialing it very well, because it was like, man, this is overwhelming the broadcast. I can't hear this.
You're just not happy with anything, are you? You don't like the announced team on Raw. You don't like the piped-in voices.
I didn't.
On Impact.
They've been doing it for weeks. It was different this past week, though. It was different. They were trying to make it louder. I mean,
yes,
there's no reason.
No, they had to.
But they had the reaction there. They could have used that, tweaked that, not carry it at the same level for all 40 minutes of that first promo.
Somebody forgot to flip the switch to record the crowd noise.
Is that the same person that drops Anderson's mic? I did mail that back to him, by the way. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you don't have it anymore.
The people love the mic drop.
Times are tough. Can't afford that kind of stuff anymore.
It was free. It was a gift.
We had to hire somebody to drop it. So I found out. You went out and did. No paperwork, no taxes, no nothing. You're going to get us shut down.
It's fine. Linda,
That's what bothered
Linda,
me. It
Linda,
was just a little bit too intense and too fake.
Would you drop the mic for me?
No, she's busy during the tapings. Hulk Hogan's return to the red and yellow. Man, he looks so much better in that. It just, not just from a nostalgic standpoint, but he just, maybe it was the smile. I don't know. And I don't know if everything he said made sense. And I'm sure I didn't care. And I know I didn't care because it was fun.
You know,
it was very well done.
You just made me think of a conversation I had with somebody about Hulk Hogan.
That's what I do.
Do we have time for this? Or do you want to talk about after the break? Or
carry on.
We were talking about Hogan,
Hulk,
and why he didn't let Bobby Roode become the TNA World Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And an interesting point was brought up. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but
horse's mouth.
It made me ponder. I'm not talking about the new quarterback for the Vikings, but
I thought baseball was over.
Hulk Hogan became the new babyface on Impact.
Mm-hmm.
And his competition for being a new babyface on Impact would have been Bobby Roode.
Conspiracy.
So maybe Hogan felt if he wanted to be the top babyface, he shouldn't put the belt on the guy that everybody wanted to win, and instead put it on somebody else that might be a second tier. And that it was Hogan's shenanigans that he has been known to do throughout his entire career. Now I know it sounds funny thinking that Bobby Roode could be more popular than the immortal Hulk Hogan. But it did make me think, like, you know what? Maybe they're onto something there. Maybe that is what really happened.
Did that 40-minute opening segment turn you away, David Hero?
No.
After the second commercial, I started peeling off a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
What didn't you like?
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just like, the momentum was broken. If it would have been continuous, which obviously is not an option, if it would have been continuous, it probably would have been a bit more intriguing. And remember, the pipe crowd noise was really bothering me. I have very sensitive ears.
I don't
pick up
think
things like a
anything
hound
could have
dog.
made you happy.
What did make me happy was the return of Gail Kim.
Yes.
She's back. After leaving TNA due to an unfavorable contract offer years ago, going to WWE and being miserable for most of the time there by her own admission, she returns to TNA Impact Wrestling this past Thursday night.
And you know, it just goes to prove how much Gail Kim loves the sport of professional wrestling. Because she really doesn't have to wrestle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's engaged to Chef Robert of Dinner Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be touring all over the world doing reality shows. But her love is wrestling. And you know what? She wants to prove that she is one of the best. And you know what? She really is one of the best. When she came in the ring and put the punches and the boots to Velvet Sky, it looked believable.
You know, the only challenge was, given the audience that TNA draws due to their location in Orlando.
And they're not real wrestling fans.
They didn't say that was Gail Kim to them.
No, they thought it was Snooki.
I thought it was a little. They did not think it was. She didn't lose that much.
No, I'm saying
Snooki.
Some people thought it was Snooki. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Listen,
They didn't say it was Gail Kim, you know, and I don't know how they could have said it.
I
but
was
they didn't
talking to someone that watched Impact. And like,
Wrestling?
oh, yeah, I saw Snooki was in the ring. I'm like, what?
Well, funnily enough, they do think that this Jersey Shore well is worth going back to. After WWE goes out and gets Snooki, you know, and they had Jay Wow, and now they got, do you know who it is, Linda? Eric Perez, Robbie, Ron. Now, if they use them right with...
Why would you ask Linda if she knows about those
She watches Jersey Shore.
Guidos?
You DVR it, don't you? Jersey Shore?
Sometimes.
See? She's...
I don't know, but just on this topic, how many people in Atlanta mentioned me as Snooki?
Yes.
I don't understand it. I don't know what Snooki looks like. From the pictures I've seen, though, she definitely doesn't look like Linda. Linda definitely doesn't look like her.
Linda blows her away.
If they do this...
Why is that funny to you?
I didn't laugh. I was looking at my run sheet. What's smart? I'm a happy man.
That's your run
smiling.
sheet now. Okay. You just derailed the whole thing. How does Jersey Shore come on the Pro Wrestling Report?
Because TNA is going to be using another talent from the Jersey Shore, I believe, next week when they're taping in Macon, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And we could speculate as to how they're going to use that talent and talk about some of the value that they may or may not have gotten out of Jay Wow, who was reportedly paid tens of thousands of dollars.
$15,000
to come into TNA and do basically nothing. Now, remember, I think it's off the air now, off season. But when does Jersey Shore air?
Thursday night?
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
Impact.
How about
But
them?
it is MTV. They probably replay it 28 times
A day.
Yeah. Hey, Beavis and Butthead are coming back.
That is fantastic.
Figures you watch them.
I cannot.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, we're going to take your phone calls. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Doink the Clown.
Which one is this?
The good Doink.
Is this Lombardi, Apollo, Matt Bourne?
Doink.
Doink.
Thank you, Bradley DePledge.
Cooper?
No.
Bradley
Cooper.
DePledge.
Awesome. Some good themes coming tonight from all of the fans out there.
Bringing back a lot of good memories.
Absolutely. Back in the good old days. You remember the good old days, David Hero?
Yeah, this past weekend.
Those were the days. Talking about TNA Impact from last week, and we already talked about the new TNA Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Spike TV champion. I think that's how it goes, James Storm. What's next for Bobby Roode? He comes out, he congratulates James Storm, and, says he deserved it. So, where do we go from here?
Well, it'll be Bobby Roode and James Storm. It's going to eventually have to be those two guys wrestling each other. It's just a matter of time.
Let's go back to the phones, and let's go to line one. Eric out in Michigan. Eric, you're live.
Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Tremendous.
First of all, the handprint thing for Linda Kay, that's horrible, guys. She's a classy lady. Like, what about the cat's bubble wrap outfit? Come on, guys. Really?
That wasn't me. That was all Damian
I'm
Nelson
not
bringing that
actually
up.
wearing those handprints.
You're not?
No, it's something very nice, but I don't copy other things we've seen.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, first of all, Damian, you gotta take off your endorsement of Dolph Ziggler. Every time you endorse somebody, horrible things happen.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, citations, please.
Heath Slater, for one.
You said every time I endorse somebody, horrible things happen. Heath Slater, for one. Please share with me number two.
The Miz. He's a mid-carder.
He's a former WWE champion, and he's in the main event at Survivor Series.
And then you endorsed him, and then he went down even further.
No. I endorsed Miz about a year ago, and then David Hero drafted him in the PWR draft and ruined his career with that one pick, which he stole, by the way.
It was clever.
Listen, just like the presidential candidates right now, everybody wants a Damian Nelson endorsement. Those who have been endorsed, Cody Rhodes, gold around his waist. The Miz, gold around his waist. Dolph Ziggler, gold around his waist. Heath Slater, soon to be a champion. Crimson,
gold
should have won the Bound for Glory series and should have been in the main event at Bound for Glory. But since everybody's blaming Hulk Hogan, I guess I'll do that too. What else, Eric?
Okay. I just want you to take back your endorsement and put it on Mason Ryan instead, but nonetheless.
What?
Yeah.
You think that a statesman as myself would endorse a Mason Ryan?
What's wrong with Mason Ryan?
Oh, why don't you tell us what's wrong with Mason Ryan, David Hero? You've only said it 78 times in the last few weeks on this program and on primetime. What's wrong with Mason
Jr.?
Ryan? Batista too.
Oh. Wait. So he doesn't get in trouble, let me say it. Wellness policy.
Well, what does that mean? I don't understand. I don't get it.
It means filtered urine.
We'll see it soon. Don't worry.
You know what?
Did
I
he
don't
switch
think so.
his?
I don't
did he
think
switch
so.
his sample with Heath Slater? Is that what happened to Heath?
Well, they were the
He
Nexus.
got framed.
You know, John Cena never got clipped.
Yeah, he makes money. He makes money.
You know? Certain guys are just genetic freaks.
Yeah, well, there's a problem with that. John Cena's like a full-time bodybuilder at the same time. Mason Ryan, not known for his bodybuilding.
Oh, he looks like it.
Well, something like that. Question for you guys.
Yes.
They didn't air tonight, which kind of shocked me because this has been a normal thing over like the past month. Brodus Clay, you guys see him coming back and being that guy who ends up possibly challenging Mark Henry and maybe putting him away, or do you think they could recreate the natural disasters in a way, which would be awesome? And also, due to the audio difficulties last night, I really did not hear about what you guys thought about if we could have possibly the reignition of the lean era where we had, like, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart with, like...
You have it. It's called Cody and Miz.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, if you look at the roster right now, 90% of them are lean. They really are. With the exception of Mason Ryan and John Cena and Triple H, and obviously Kevin Nash, there aren't a whole lot of guys over 250 pounds. I'm not including the Giants in there, but most of the guys are, 250 and under. That's pretty lean in the world of wrestling.
Can I throw out a cheap plug for you guys real quick, too?
Absolutely.
Your little announcement you made last night about you guys doing this little commentary thing?
The stream.
Whoa. There's nothing little about what's going on over here.
No, I'm sorry.
Little announcement.
The stream returns for the Survivor Series. I think that's what you're referring to, Eric. A lot of people just didn't want to listen to the commentary. Now, let me say this. If JR's back, come Survivor Series, there's no stream. Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry. But here's how about a suitable replacement? David Hero, I think it's time to make yet another PWR Live event announcement.
Oh, my gosh.
Survivor Series. Eric in Michigan, thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
Survivor Series, November 20th.
Yes.
On pay-per-view.
Yes. Well, obviously.
John Cena teaming up with The Rock to take on The Miz and R-Truth. How would it be to watch that for free?
You're going to fly me to Madison Square Garden?
I'm going to keep you right here in Milwaukee, and I'm going to do you one better.
Okay.
On November 20th, right here in Milwaukee, not only can you watch the Survivor Series for free, but you can do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
Not one, but two calendar models.
Really?
One of them being Linda Kay. The other one, also formerly a WWE diva.
Well, which one?
I'm building.
Well, I'm very well. I mean, Linda Kay is more than enough to handle.
Survivor Series free on pay-per-view on the largest LCD screen in the Midwest.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
We're going to be at Miller Park?
No, that's not LCD.
Oh,
it's a difference. You know how it is. Maria Kanellis.
Maria, Playboy Maria?
Playboy Maria. She's going to be at the PWR party.
So wait.
For the WWE Survivor Series.
Maria and Linda together?
In the same room.
For free?
Yeah, absolutely no charge.
That is fantastic.
It's going to be at the Horny Goat Hideaway.
Appropriate.
Right here in Milwaukee on November 20th.
Wait. So we get to hang out with Linda and Maria at a place called the Horny Goat Hideaway.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
With some amazing food.
How about that?
Amazing
Is it going to be in that new big tent they just put up?
Yes, it is.
So heated tent.
But it's more than a tent. It's really a building.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stage. There's this screen in there. There's Maria's going to be in there. Maria, we haven't seen her in quite a while, especially here in the Milwaukee area.
Well, not since we were in Chicago.
No charge, free. Details coming this week on the PWR Facebook page. Maria Kanellis, the Survivor Series. Maria Kanellis, Linda Kay, Damian Nelson, and the Survivor Series on the big screen.
That's shenanigans.
It's just going to be tremendous. November is shaping up to be pretty huge.
Yeah.
Let's continue on the phones. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, and let's talk to Jesse. Jesse, you're live.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Tremendous.
Fantastic, Jesse.
Okay, one thing about Vengeance, and I already knew John Cena was going to lose because of one thing. Did y'all notice on the Venues commercial for the preview for Vengeance, like the announcer wasn't looking forward to John Cena winning the title? Did anybody notice it, or was that just me by myself?
Did anybody notice that the announcers weren't looking forward to John Cena winning the title? Was that the question?
Yeah, like in the commercial, in the preview of the commercial for Vengeance, like will John Cena win it? Again, like if it would happen again, like if he wasn't really looking forward to it.
I didn't catch that, actually. I thought I saw a couple of the promos for Vengeance, but I definitely didn't catch it, so I'm not sure I can answer it, but that's interesting. And, one other thing, there was a lot of deliberate conversation going on from the commentary team last night, referenced John Cena. I don't think they really ever set the expectation, and maybe this leads to your point, they really ever set the expectation that he would win.
I can see that.
Jesse, go ahead.
And today with the whole Triple H thing, maybe David Hero can answer this for me because I'm sure he's the more expert on this. Do you really think this is more of going back to the whole Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker thing? Like maybe they're trying to show him how to deliberately throw a great promo just like that, like how they did it tonight. Because tonight was an awesome promo. I was just shocked that I was like, man, this brings back memories, like back to the Macho Man days, the Diesel days, and Austin days, and all that. So I was happy to see that promo. It really lighted a spark on me today. It really did.
Thank you for that call, Jesse from Houston.
Well, I mean, these young kids can learn from Triple H and Kevin Nash.
These young kids.
They're young. They're in their 20s.
Comparatively speaking.
They're in their 20s. That's young in the wrestling world. Most guys didn't get their break until they were a lot closer to 30.
You're living in the past.
No, I'm not.
Territories are gone. You
Exactly.
don't work your way up.
Exactly. And
You
that's
go to
what's wrong
improv
with
class.
wrestling. I'm sorry?
You go to improv class.
Yeah, they have theater class, they have promo class, they have all these classes now.
Is there a problem with that?
Yes.
What's the problem?
It's not working. That's the problem with it. Come on, really, think about it. Out of developmental, with all the guys that are down there, not many are making it out because they're not ready. What's that one guy's name you had the big man crush on? Mrs. Lackey's sidekick? Alex Riley? Where the hell's he been? Exactly.
I never endorsed Alex Riley.
Slater, Gabriel.
I didn't endorse
almost
Peter.
all of
I
Nexus.
did not
all the
endorse
guys they've
Justin
brought
Gabriel.
up are back down again.
Well, and they didn't even get shipped away in a crate.
No, not this time.
Thank you for that call from down in Houston, Texas. David Hero, we got a lot more to get to, and we talked earlier about that Scott Hall E60 special on ESPN television last week. And, I got to tell you, it was a riveting piece of television. And you alluded to earlier having Scott Hall as part of a GLCW event a while back. And, Scott Hall's problems are very evident. And I had not seen as much footage of his appearance at that New England wrestling event where he thought he had literally flown across an ocean and didn't realize he hadn't.
Yeah.
And, man, the way they put that together and looking at big Scott Hall, looking at Razor Ramon, and looking at the Scott Hall that we have with us today, it was very sobering. No pun intended, seriously there, but it was very sobering to watch such an amazing star who has crumbled so much and who has had so much help. We saw comments from Stephanie McMahon. Reports are WWE spent over $500,000 on rehab for Scott Hall. But one thing that became
Scott
clear
Hall
to me
was not friends with Triple H or Kevin Nash's best buddy, he wouldn't have had so many opportunities.
But the one thing that was clear to me, and it's his decision to make because it's his life, but it didn't seem and it doesn't seem as if he wants to change. Because this is what he knows.
It is what he knows.
And he talked about that joy of performing for an audience, that high you get from performing for an audience, which is not just a Scott Hall thing. Many talents have said that. The Rock has even said it. And to replicate that at this point in time, he has to go to different methods. And I just don't see that ending. And unfortunately, the result could be a fairly tragic one for Scott Hall in the future.
Somebody sent out a tweet earlier about like my perspective on what happened with that promoter on the East Coast.
As you are a promoter of
how
Great
they
Lakes
put him through the
Championship
curtain. And you know what? And I've been
morals over business or something like that, he said.
You know, I've been in that position with certain people where right before they're supposed to be out in the ring, they're not ring ready.
Right.
And then you got to wonder, okay, what do you do? What is the best thing for business? Now,
and you don't have a long time to make that decision.
No, you don't. 9 times out of 10, when they hear their theme music, they kick out and they're ready to go. Now, the guy on the East Coast was Scott Hall. I know how much Scott Hall charges for an indie appearance. And if the guy already paid Scott when he walked in the building, and if Scott was the Scott Hall that I worked with when he was in town for me, I can see why the guy pushed him out through the curtain. Because you know what? He doesn't want to refund the money to all those people. Scott Hall already got his money, and it's time, okay, you know what? This guy was being a toolbox to me or whatever. I'm going to go out there. I have no loyalties to him, and he pushed him out. Was it the right thing to do? Probably not. But, you know, you're not always dealing with people that are thinking straight in the wrestling business.
Right. So. In any entertainment business, actually. This happens across all sports.
Mm-hmm. When I had Hall and Nash against Road Dogg and Billy, I'll never forget, Billy Gunn was pacing in that locker room like a caged lion because Scott was just frustrated. Scott had the locker room up in arms, you know, to the point where even Kevin Nash was tired of the shenanigans. Yep. And you were there, and you saw it, and we felt it. And, you know, normally the GLCW locker room is laid back. It's a lot of fun, good times. But it was a stressful scenario. And you know what? It was the one common denominator. It was Scott Hall.
You know what, though? It's almost like a roller coaster ride because, you know, we've actually, after that event, there was a party, an after party, which is typical of a wrestling event, and Scott was having a blast. Was not in control.
No.
Initially.
No.
He was having a blast and having fun, but with that, you sort of knew.
But I will say this at the same time. You know what? It wasn't the best experience I've had, but at the same time, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn, there was over 1,800 some people in that building that night.
And over 80,000 people have watched it on YouTube. Actually, that video on our Facebook page right now as well. That matchup, I believe, it was
two
the
words,
first
too
DX
sweet. It was the first
NWO.
time, and it obviously is now the only time that match will ever happen.
How many C&Ds did you get on that?
I got more than I care to count. Yes.
We wish Scott Hall the best, but ultimately, in any case, as you talk about these type situations, in any case, it's that person's decision because he's got the support. He's got the support of his family. He's got the support of his best friend, Kevin Nash. He's got the support of World Wrestling Entertainment, and he's got the support of all the fans who
they have even
tried
to get him on with Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab. And you know what?
That's a joke anyways.
Well, but you know what? He was one of the finalists, but obviously, it didn't happen.
You got to be good enough.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, I think now after this ESPN thing aired, if they are going to do more Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, I would think Scott Hall is going to be one of the first run guys.
We're going to take our final time out of the evening. When we come back, information on Sweet and Sexy. We're also going to get to your phone calls. We've got Michael in Michigan, David in Michigan. Gosh, I didn't realize we were so popular in Michigan. All waiting, and we'll get to those calls when we come back. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
The sports Milwaukee cares about all day long on 540 ESPN.
The World Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolution.
It don't get no more tremendous than this. Luke and Butch, the Bushwhacker.
I just have always had a problem when one man licks another man's head.
His scalp.
Yeah.
Then his armpit. And then the battering ram. Was that their finisher, the battering ram?
Disturbing.
Luke and Butch, who gave us this? That is tremendous. This could be the best One of the best gimmick theme songs. I was hoping we'd hear the Mono Rick Martel or Brother Love or something like that. Maybe even Jake the Snake Roberts, which wasn't really a gimmick, but who gave us that?
That would be Omar is the Peta. Thank you very much.
We might have to do gimmicks again next week's Halloween theme because we're going to be at Karma for the Halloween party. Costume party as well.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be wrestling themed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you decided yet?
Well, I think about it. I could make mine somewhat wrestling themed. I know we talked about it earlier. That fully loaded. I'm not.
Oh baby, oh baby. All right, really? Really? You're going to dress up as Sable with the paint and the hands and the
hands and the.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That is fantastic.
Well, you know what? I know how they operate around here, and we better check that with standards and practices first. I'm not about to lose this gig.
You sure?
Dude, you pay way too well. Man. Speaking of that, you know what? Your new, I got your memo on the new reality show that you're all excited to watch. The Real Housewives of Detroit. That is fantastic. I saw the little commercial you posted for it on the Twitter account.
It's on our Facebook page.
Yes. Breaking law.
You are ridiculous. We want to thank all of you who purchased your packages for Sweet and Sexy. Can you believe it sold out in 24 hours? Like, legit sold out in less than a day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we want to thank people. Here, last year, we had people from 14 different states, all from the United States here in Atlanta. This year, we got people from Ohio, from New Jersey, Florida, obviously, the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Idaho and Australia joining us in the suite.
Wait, you just said the United Kingdom, Idaho.
I wanted to go back to the middle and around
That's
again.
pretty funny.
All joining us in the suite. But guess what, David Hero? While it is sold out right now,
yes,
waiting for a call back from Sun Life Stadium. We
hope to release
more seats.
Linda,
we're going to upgrade the suite.
You didn't sell our seats, did you? Linda and I, we still got our spots.
You're fine.
Okay.
We are looking to upgrade the suite, and we'll be hopefully being able to release some more seats this Friday at pwrshow.com. Again, a little shocking that even though David Hero is going to be in there, so many of you bought your tickets so fast. We appreciate that, being a part of Sweet and Sexy. Remember,
that's all part of the DHHS World Tour.
You don't have to be part of the Sweet and Sexy package to join us at the Courtyard by Marriott, which is helping present Sweet and Sexy this year. Special PWR rate available in Miami at the Courtyard by Marriott.
So that's
the official PWR hotel.
Now you're telling the world where we're staying.
Telling the world where you guys are staying. I'll be in a suite at the Hyatt.
Of course.
Well, you know, perks.
Okay.
Let's go to David in Michigan, who's been waiting patiently on hold on line 3. David, you're live.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Tremendous.
Fantastic.
That's great. I was just
Hey, David, have you seen the promo for the Real Housewives of Detroit yet?
On the Beavis and Butthead thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I seen that. I was watching Jackass.
Wait, Sudden Impact is on Thursday. That's radio. What are you talking about?
No, I was talking about. I got this.
David, please cut Tillman. Legit, I want him off. The Hero's done for tonight. Say goodbye, Dave. David, go ahead with your question.
I was just during the commercial. I was just watching that video of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash versus the Outlaws.
Yes,
Scott Hall. I mean, he's such ring smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they say ring general? I mean, only that was that long ago anyway.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I believe that was Blizzard Brawl 5, David Hero? Or no, that was an April event from GLCW. You know, it was good. I think I had did I call that match? I did call that match.
Yes.
And, yeah, you know, it was great and it was fun. It was the first time ever. And that's the kind of stuff you see from GLCW, including at Blizzard Brawl. And if you go to blizzardbrawl.com, pwrshow.com tomorrow, you'll be able to pick up a new ticket package option, which includes transportation from here in downtown Milwaukee out to the Waukesha County Expo Center and all kinds of other goodies available for this year's Blizzard Brawl on December 3rd. Chris Masters will be appearing in what probably will be his last match because I will destroy him. I'm just saying. It's going to happen that way. Final call of the night. Let's stay in Michigan. David, you're going to be in Michigan in a couple of weeks, apparently.
I'm going to be in Cadillac, Michigan.
All these Michigan callers.
On
November
5th, I'll be out there with Kevin Nash, with Kevin Thorne, with Rhino. It's going to be a whole lot of good fun out there.
You're going to go to Rhino's house?
Well, he's in Detroit. I'm going to Cadillac.
Michael, you're live on line 1. Thanks for calling.
Hi, how you doing, gentlemen?
Great, Michael.
I think you guys should. One guy should dress up as Clarence Mason, and the other guy should dress up as Mark Madden for Halloween.
Oh, okay. I'll go as Clarence Mason.
I'll be Mark Madden.
Perfect.
And then I think that would work for you guys. But you guys asked earlier why Kevin Nash works in the WWE right now. I think it's because he's used in smaller chunks, unlike Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, for example, in TNA. And then other thing I want to. Somebody talked about Brock Lesnar earlier working in the WWE again. I don't think I'd ever want to see that again after what he did at WrestleMania 20. He had the worst match in the history of professional wrestling at WrestleMania 20. I think for a big show like that, you pay $50 for a show like that, a 5-hour show, and that's the one match people should still be talking about, and you don't even hear about it anymore because it was so bad.
But you just brought it up, Michael, and thank you for calling. And you know what I got to say about that matchup at WrestleMania 20? And you were there, David, here live in Madison Square Garden. Brock Lesnar, Steve Austin, Goldberg are not to blame for that match. You, the fans, are to blame for that match. Because those of you that were there in Madison Square Garden crapped on it from the moment it started because everybody knew they were both leaving.
That both guys were leaving.
So they did deliver a match.
It wasn't good, but they weren't going to put all their heart and soul into it when the crowd's booing them out of the gate.
Exactly. Solidifying their decisions to leave.
Right.
Now, we know how that Vikings thing worked out for Brock Lesnar.
And Brett Favre.
Ew.
Linda Kay, what has the world been talking about in the last 2 hours when David's been talking? I know we've got a poll, 2 polls on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Is there one? Yeah.
It was a poll regarding if you think that Vengeance was pass or fail.
Pass or fail on Vengeance. Last night during the post show, it was pretty heavily skewed in one direction.
It still is. Vengeance dominating. 80%.
80?
About 80%.
See, is that almost shenanigans in Ohio and Florida again? Because last night it was at 90%. Wow, so Vengeance was that good. Really?
Speaking of your state of Florida.
Yeah. Side of WrestleMania.
Did you hear about those shenanigans?
I'm not sure if I did.
A
I'll
drug
be there.
test for the welfare checks? Amazing.
The October pay-per-views, Damien. We had a poll on our Facebook page as well for that. The 3 pay-per-views in October: Vengeance, Bound for Glory, and Hell in a Cell.
Which one was better? Let me guess. I talked about this earlier. David, would you like to guess which one probably won?
Blizzard Brawl.
Not an option.
It should be.
It was in December. It's in December, not October.
Oh. Halloween Havoc.
Linda, please.
All right, about 60% saying Vengeance.
See, you know what? That ticks me off.
All right.
That really does. Not because there's no way. Just like Buford T. Justice said, there ain't no way Vengeance was the best pay-per-view of those 3.
Yes, it was.
Bound for Glory.
People are judging Vengeance on the ring.
Hold on,
People are judging Vengeance on the ring exploding.
No,
they're
they're
judging
not.
Bound for Glory on the main event match.
No, they're not.
They're judging how... What? Well, then what are they judging?
They're judging on ADR defeating John Cena.
Oh, will you stop?
They're judging it on Randy Orton beating Cody Rhodes.
You've lost your mind.
They're judging it on Dolph Ziggler beating Zack Ryder.
Clearly, your temperature's up.
And the big body slams between Big Show and Mark Henry. It was a far better pay-per-view. It meant more.
I'm going to let the Supreme Court decide this one.
Oh, my goodness.
So that won't go on my favor either. No, you're Clarence Mason. I'm going to be...
Mark Madden.
Got an update, hot news on Serena Deeb. She's been tweeting about an unfortunate situation.
She's had like 4 concussions over her career, and the final one was at the Shimmer TV tapings, and where she wrestled 4 matches over the weekend, wasn't feeling well. The last match she went into got a stiff kick to the head. Doctors are telling her to take some time off. It's going to be gone. She'll be out of action at least through the end of the year, which now means she will not be wrestling at Blizzard Brawl. She will be there, but not wrestling and defending her GLCW Ladies Championship.
Speaking of being there, we want to thank everybody who joined us on the phone lines this week. We'll see you next Monday night at Karma on 600 East Ogden, 7:30 p.m. for the PWR costume party and live broadcast. This has been the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and all over the world at ESPNMilwaukee.com.